Roger Blake entered our lives like a thunderstorm. Within weeks, my skateboard and guitar were trashed, my posters torn down. My mom Janice flinched every time he raised his voice. She watched but never stopped him. I clutched a rare coin, my dad's. It was the last thing he gave me. Roger once tried to pawn it. I slapped his hand away. That day, I stopped trusting her. If she wouldn't protect me, I'd have to learn to protect myself and never let go of that coin. Roger didn't stop. He controlled our meals, our friends, even how loud we could laugh. I once smiled at a neighbor. He grounded me for a week. Mom said nothing. Every inch of me screamed to fight back. I hid that coin under my pillow, gripping it when nightmares came. Janice tried to comfort me once, saying, "He's just tired." I stared at her. Hollow. She was too afraid to leave, too sick to change, so I changed quietly. I planned someday, it's be him who flinched. After I got sent to juvie for stealing $3 from his wallet, I came home to a stranger's room. Roger had tossed my stuff again. Janice offered a silent hug, but I pulled away. The coin was gone. I nearly collapsed. Days later, I found it tucked behind the water heater. I kissed it. That coin kept me grounded. But the worst hadn't hit yet. The social worker's visit brought more than questions, it brought secrets. The social worker's questions lit a fuse. "Did Roger ever touch you?" she asked. I froze. Janice stood behind her, shaking. "Tell her," she whispered, but I couldn't, not yet. Roger smirked when they left, tossing me a bag of my comics. Burn. I held that coin like armor. He thought he'd broken me, but his mistake was letting me live angry. That night, I wrote everything down, every bruise, every insult. I wasn't done. Flashback. I was 12 when Roger first shoved me. Janice said I slipped. He smashed my science fair project that night. Flashback again. I screamed when he threw my dog's bowl out. "It's just a mutt," he snapped. Present day. I found the coin in the old vent, where I once hid from him. My breath shook. It gleamed in the dark like hope. I wasn't the scared kid anymore. The twist. Janice had cancer, weeks left. Roger moved out while Janice was in hospice. He had 45 days to grab his things. I waited until day 46. Then I sold his tools, trashed his books, and gave away his prized records. When we crossed paths at the hardware store, I smiled and placed a rare coin on the counter. "Remember this?" I asked. His face turned gray. He lunged, shouting as security tackled him. I whispered, "Now you're the one who's worthless," and I walked out lighter. Roger was fired after the outburst. Word spread fast. He'd never work around kids again. Janice in her hospital bed finally cried. "I shouldn't have left sooner," she whispered. I held her hand. "You gave me the coin back. That's enough," she smiled. Weak but free. At her funeral, I wore her old locket inside the coin. My past didn't define me, my choices did. I wasn't Roger's victim. I was Dakota Mitchell, and I had survived fully, finally, unshaken.